Shalom Israel. It's Officer Qadash Par, Officer 50, South Carolina. Where we have another Lashawan Qadash class with Isupk. Started out 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Under Commander General Yohana, 1969, where we teach blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians make up and are indeed the 12 tribe of Israel. If you're not under Isupk, you're not under the truth. We're not affiliated with any other Israelite group.
Right.
So get into camp, get a flyer, get online, www.isupk. All our warriors wear it on our sleeves. And get in camp, and you'll find yourself in our Isupk classes under Commander General Yohana. That's what we teach, that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians make up the 12 tribes of Israel. And we'll try something a little different today, but it's pretty much the same thing. We're going to go into the 18 nations. All the nations that exist, and I got some charts up here. We're going to go all the way through, and we're going to give you their Hebrew name, and we're going to spell it out. We kind of point it to you also, where these nations are. So a lot of people want to know when you see a nation, like this one, you want to know, well, where is that on the map? And that's what we're all about. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to show you where these nations are, because it's important. Lockie, give me a second. Make some adjustments here. Okay. So we'll let you know. We got a few nations to go through, all the way from India to Asia, Syria, Arabs, Chinese, Japanese, so-called Edom. We'll dwell on that one for a little while, because he got a lot of nations where he come from. A lot of nations where he's hiding, where he's morphing, where he's hiding himself. Because he was part of those 83, Salakia. He's part of those nations that had us in captivity, He's the main one. In Psalms 83, it talks about it, and we'll get into Psalms 83 in a second, and we'll go over a few of these. So when you see the names that we have on the board, you'll know which nations had them in captivity. We'll show you where they're from. We have, the first one we have up here is called Elam. And Elam is it's India. And you guys in your chat, you have any questions, of course, join us in the chat. So like you for a second. Join us in our chat. Okay. All right, good. Join us in our chat in YouTube and Facebook. www.isupk.com. Our first nation that we're going to get into, out of all the nations that we've gotten into, Mizraim, we have even North Africa. We have all the nations that are French, Russia, Greek, German, Spain, Italy. And of course, those last, French, Russia, Greek, Germany, Spain, they were just a few nations Esau has, but we're going to get into all of them. We're going to start off first with India. And of course, Shalom with
Good.
Yes, sir.
Keep on teaching. I got you.
Yes. Elam is that nation called Ayala. Sorry. Of course, that's India. We'll put this down here. I'm trying to put it in a way that you can understand it, and I'll be erasing some on the board just so you can see it from our view, from our vantage point. I have our sisters and brothers here in class. Come out to Isupk, South Carolina, and enjoy the class and understand what's going on in class, so that you can get your Hebrew name. The brothers get your Hebrew name, and the sisters do your 90 days, get your Hebrew name. The first one that we're going to join, that we're going to understand, is a country called India. The East Indians. Now, not the North American Indians, because that's in fact part of us, the 12 tribes of India, the 12 tribes of Israel. The blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are and make up the 12 tribes of Israel. But we're not talking about those Indians, because that's a whole other thing. But when we talk about India, that's the East Indians right here. Right there. Guess they can see that. Yeah, they can see it. East Indians right there. Elam, of course, and then of course his Hebrew name, we'll put it in blue. It's called Ayalam. We'll spell that out. Mom. Okay? We'll spell that out. A lot of people, you see how those Indians, the ones that wear those turbans on their head, and they get with those Indians that live in places called New Delhi, Nepal, and all those areas right up in here. You know, a little bit on the east side of Saudi Arabia. Let's say it's situated right below China, and we'll get into China in a second. That's what we call India. That's what we're getting into. Let's spell it out. Like I said in the past, and that's why I see when the sisters taking notes, and that's always good to come to class prepared, get a pencil and paper, take notes, because that's how you learn. That's how I learned. That's what I have. See, I have my notes from well over a year ago. And the first one, Ayalam. And I'll always use them here. I'll use red for the Paleo Hebrew. Now, we were in captivity. Before we were in captivity, we have a holy language called Lashawan Qadash. Hebrew writes from right to left, not left to right, but right to left. Okay? It's called Lashawan Qadash. And the Paleo is the language, the pure language that the Most High gave us before we got in captivity in Assyria. Okay? And that was, when we got in captivity in Assyria, that was, I write that in blue, Assyria. Abbreviated right there. That's when we learned to do stuff like this. Like we'll touch on it just a little bit before we get into all 18 nations, so that we can have a little small refresher course. Like, let's say, Ba, Da. I'll just do maybe a couple of them. Let's do Da also. Just a few of these, just to name a few of our characters. What we call them is, these are characters. Now, we've touched on this before. I'm not going to get too much in depth with it. Characters. Characters in Paleo will look like this. That's an A in Paleo. You can see how it looks sideways? That's our Lashawan Qadash for Ah. It's called Ah. There are two vowels in the Hebrew language, and they're the A and the I. And so we say Ah and I, not A and I. We say Ah and I. Everything we use, like we say La, there's an A, Shah. Matter of fact, I'll break it down so you can see it a little bit better. There's an A, there's an A, or we call it an Ah. In our language, so I'm used to saying A. And here's another one. That's an Ah. And what's excluded is that H sound, the ha, that's what you hear, okay, and then you hear Qadash, which means, what does Qadash mean, our students out there? What does Qadash mean? Just look at the board. Say it out loud, sister. Holy, that's right. Give that sister a hand. Qadash means holy. That's what we have, Lashawan Qadash. Lashawan Qadash. Holy, that's what it means. That's what we are. That's what we should be. A holy and separate people. So, these people here, these 18 nations, they ain't holy. The blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, the Most High is calling us to be holy and separate. Okay? Paleo, Hebrew. Okay. So, the Ah and the I. How many vowel sounds did we say we have? Two. That's exactly right. We got two of them. Okay? How many characters are there? Well, from I said in past, since I just said, we'll write it on the board. There are 22 characters in Hebrew. 22, like you say, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, like we learn in school. Well, we go Abba, Da, Ga, Hawazaka, Tayakala, Manasa, I, Pataza, Farasha, Tha. Those are our Hebrew characters. And that's what we'll use while we're in class. So if you see right here, you see La, Shah, those are actually characters that's put together to make a word. Wa, and then the Na. Lashawan which means tongue. Qadash, Qua, that's another one. Qua Rashata. And Da, that's another one. That's what we're going to get into. Now, Da looks like this. We'll go over just a little bit before we get into the 18 nations, do a little refresher course. That's what a Da looks like. Who can tell me what this is? Since we're on it like this, who can tell me what this is? Since I'll make a Da right here, make it real big. I hope the camera can see it pretty good. Yeah, I believe it can. Okay, so if that's a Da, then what's this? Who recognized that? Go ahead, sister. It's a Da. Young sisters in here, give her a hand. It's a Da. What's your name again, sister?
Huh?
What's your name again?
Adana.
Adana, okay. I think we got you on the map too. Somewhere here, we ain't forgot about it. Remind me of it a second. Adana said that is a Dawada. Well, let's explain something. A lot of people talk about it's evil. All it is David's name. Our King David. Dawada. We have one of our officers named Dawada. That's all that is. That's his signature. Like, you know, if you would write your signature on something like Da, he just turned it upside down and said, okay, it's perfect, you know. Dawada. Everyone off says, like, that's one of his perfect descriptions of his name. Da, and then let's explain this. Wa means end. And this is Da and Da. So it's Da and another Da. So it means Dawada. That's all it means. Okay? All right? You get your head scarf, sister? We'll find you one in a second here, okay? Cover your head. We'll get you one in a second, all right? Da. So that's what it means. And we'll erase that here real quick here because I just want you guys to let you know, we're having new students in class and we'll have to explain, break down things real quick, real fast here. Okay, Da. We have if you're online here, put your comments in. Let's see. It's like a second. We have Adrian. Yeah, Adrian. All right, Adrian. She's got online in class there. We'll put Adrian over here. We have Adrian in class. And a lot of sisters and brothers that joined class right here already. So we have the A and the I. That's our vowels, okay? The A and the I. And then we have another. So the A in Paleo Hebrew looks like that. Now it looks like a sideways A because that's the way I remembered it, okay? Now if you want to look at Assyrian, it will look like this. It will look like this. Okay? It looks like that. But that's how it looks in Assyrian because what they did was take our what they did when we're in captivity during the Assyrian Empire, they took our A's, said they obliterated it or took it out. And then they say, well, we'll keep the sound to this very day they have because they want to be like us. And they made us go around using these. That's why we show it. Looks like sort of chicken stripe, but the pure language is in red here. Okay? Well, let's do another one. Let's do Ba real quick. And like I said, to reiterate, before we get into the 18 nations here, I'm going to show you all these nations. There are 18 nations in the world, and we're showing you those nations. Okay? Ba. Let's get into Ba. What does that look like? Looks like this. That's what a B looks like in Hebrew. Ba. Okay? Now in Assyrian, it'll look like this. Look like that. Okay? And this is the one they have the exact same sound, but they totally characterize, or they have different character, just like you say A, B, C, D, F, G, that's their B in Assyrian. And this is, of course, the one that the Most High gave us in red right there, okay? All right? Does everyone understand? Good. All right, and then let's have a Ga. Looks like that. Looks like, sort of like that, okay? Looks like that. All right, so very good. And then we have, let's see what that looks like. the Ga. The Ga looks like this. Well, I got to put it in blue. Looks like a walking man, doesn't it? Like a walking man with his neck hanging out there. And that's how I remembered it. Okay, look. This is an A. Doesn't it look like anybody ever play hangman?
Me, yeah.
Don't that look like that?
Yeah.
Okay. That's now you know what a B looks like. That's how you do it. What about this Ga? Like a walking man. That's how I remembered it. You know? Okay, and a Ga and a Da, of course. We just went over that. The Da, right? Like this. That's the D, right? And of course, the D in Paleo looks like this. I'm sorry, in Assyrian, in blue, looks like this. Just a straight line and kind of down a little bit, like that. We're going to get into the 18 nations, I promise you. Just kind of going over maybe just a few. Matter of fact, let's go over this front line here before I get into Elam and all the other nations and their involvement, what they had to, their involvement and where they are. Like such beautiful, colorful charts here. So we want to show you in Isupk where they are, where these nations are. We'll get into that in a second. So Abba, Da, Da, Ha, Ha. Okay, Ha looks like, what does that look like to you? What was that? That's what I saw, or backwards F, either one, or a cone. That's exactly how I remember it, a cone. I mean, whatever acronym, those are acronyms. You know, cone, Ha. Whatever way you can look at it and understand, that's how we want to say it. Okay? Well, be careful there. I'm back a little bit. Right here. This, and always leave a space in there, a nice space for the Ha. Those are the first, what, five characters? Okay? And remember, you know, we're writing right to left. Right? Okay? So we got enough probably, yeah, all right. And we'll go here. We'll say Wa real quick here. Just kind of refreshing course, just a little bit, not much. Wa. Wa. What does that look like? What's your acronym for that? Look like a Y or a tuning fork. That's a good way to remember it, however you want to remember it, right? Wa. And then, of course, Assyrian will look like that. That's pretty much sort of like a crooked, say, sort of like a crooked 7, you know. All right? So you can make up an acronym of that. A hangman walked to pie. He walked to some pie to eat, right? They don't like a pie to you. Y'all know what pie is? I'm talking about like that. Like the pie symbol. That's pretty much what that looks like to me. That's how I remembered it. I don't know why. It doesn't matter how I remember this as long as you remember and associate it with one of these characters here. So I'll do the first line here and then we'll quit that one. And that'll be another day for that. Ha-wa. Let's might as well do the Z real quick here. Ha-wa. Za. Okay, because we'll do Ka right here and then we'll stop. Then we'll get into the 18 nations, okay? Za. What do you think? Anybody know what the Za looks like? What y'all think? How about this? It's like a Z. I mean, that's how it looks, right? Yeah. Okay. And then we got here. When I read Lashawan Qadash, sort of like that. That is a. Did I have that right? Yeah, that's right. How was that? And of course, Ka. This is the last one. That's a Z. It's like a Yeah, look crooked, something, yeah. Where you said, oh, I thought you raised your hand. Go ahead. Yes. Huh?
Kind of looks like a hat.
Oh, but, oh, yeah. She's right, the sister's right. Like this, she remembers. Exactly right. Jacob's ladder. She remembers. That's what the car looks like. Exactly right. That's what, and it looks like that. If you notice, this is paleo in red, Assyrian is blue, okay? And the last one we'll do here real quick, we may do it a little bit, have some fun at the end of the class and do some more. Kyle, what does that look like? It looks the same as this one, only closed. Like that. Okay?
It looks like a door.
Huh?
No, it looks like a door.
Yeah. Okay, and those are the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The first 8. All right? All right, so we'll erase this. Let's get into some of these nations here. All right? Always write your notes down. And the more and more you do this, the more and more you'll understand how to write Hebrew. Because you use those characters to make what we're getting ready to do here. All right? India. Let's have some room here. So when we do India, let's write India is actually is Ya, Lam. Okay, let's break it down. And that would be, I think it's Ayalam. Oh. Block you. Ayalam, that's exactly right. Okay. All right. And this is called, this is India. Anybody see India on the map? Right there. Those are the East Indians, okay, like we talked about before. Ayalam, okay? Let's see how can we spell that. It'll be like this. I in Hebrew. I, that's what an I looks like in Paleo Hebrew. I, and of course we have Yah, like that. So you understand, all right? Then we got La. Then we have an M. Ayalam. So let's break down. Here's an interesting thing here. Let's break down what you got to understand about okay. What you got to understand about Hebrew in the Paleo. It has connectors. And the connectors look like this. Let's see. They look like this. And they look like this. Okay? This connector right here is an independent connector. It has its own independent sound. I mean, only independent. Yeah, I guess sound, you can say that, okay? Over here, this is called a dependent connector. Of course, we've done this before. This is nothing new here, but that's okay. That's why we're here to learn. We're here to learn. Lock it for a sec. We have Shar, Officer Shar, Trooper Sean in class. We go over 18 nations. Trooper Sean. Okay? All right? Now, we have independent, looks like this little. Now, why do we need them? We need these to help break the enunciation of the word down. Ya, lam. There's the I. So what do we hear? We hear I is it independent or dependent? Independent. You hear the I. And even the artists, y'all put down, if, say like we're doing this for right now, put down an I for independent or D for dependent, okay? And the artist will type it in so I can see what you're doing, and that's what you need. Type it in that way. Okay? We have Robinson Latrice, sister. Keep coming in class, sisters, all you sisters and brothers. Got Robinson, Latrice, or I guess that's Latrice Robinson. Okay? Alright, so it's independent. Now what about the next one here? You hear Yah. Yah, is that independent or dependent? Independent? She's right. Okay? Like we're still on our YouTube channels and our Facebook channels. Type it in. If you join with us here in class, but we have a host of students in class, big class. So if you see, well, right now we're doing connectors. Independent for I, and type in a D if it's dependent, because we're trying to break down this word. Elam, India. You know, these people live right here. That's where they live. That's where they live today. Today. Not yesterday. Not 2,000 years ago. This is more or less where they live today. I mean, that's another class to get into where they used to live back in Christ's days, or, you know, Mashiach. Yeah. Yahushua Mashiach. So, and then what are we going to do with this lam?
Dependent connect.
Okay, yeah, that's right. She's right. So, how do you know this independent connect? How do you know this is dependent connect? Huh?
The sound, long, it sounds like it connects.
We have, exactly. Okay, so if it's I, Yah, Lam. We want to join Lam together, right? So that's an L there. An L, that's like an L and an A. La. That is a character. We want to join with the character Ma. What happened to the A over here for the Ma? We don't need it, do we? Because if you put it on there, it was Ayalama. It's Ayalam. It's to help make the sound, so you don't need the A. So if you put that A on there, it's Ayalamba. We don't need that. Because you'll think it's another A that looks like that. So we drop that A right here. That's why you don't need it. That's why, and the sister's right. Sister's right. So we have a dependent connector, which looks like that. Ayalam. Okay. Now let's get into the Assyrian here. Assyrian has some special things going on too. We'll see if you guys remember online and in class. Let's find out what that looks like. Okay, in Assyrian. Ayalam. All right. Ayalam again, like I said, Indian. That's I. Sort of like that. It's my version of an I, anyway. All right. I, Yah, okay. Then we have a L over here. And of course, we have something going on here at the end. Anybody remember? In Assyrian. So far we got I, Yah, La. How do we conduct? Do we put what does an M look like naturally? An M normally looks like this. Okay? In Assyrian. So what would this M look like? Would it go there? Or would something different go there? What y'all think? Go ahead, sister.
Some situations where the character has more than one and you use a specific one for a specific sound.
Are you referring to this, sis?
Those ones.
The green one?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's why I got them up there. Those are called ending what? Ending characters. And sister's right. So we go here and we say, as a matter of fact, let's be true to the colors of Syrian and Paleo. Right here. always put, if you see me use green, that's because it's an ending character, just like that. Okay? All right? And it won't look like this. It ain't gonna look like that, because that is a natural M in Assyria. Okay? That makes sense? Well, we don't need that. This replaced that. Why? Because it occurs on the end. We're writing Hebrew from right to left, and that's the end. So we have no choice but to put that on there. And that's Ayalam. Anybody have any questions about India, one of those nations right there? Okay? They have, those are the ones that have all of the Buddhas and the different bad customs, and we ought not to be part of their customs either. We're showing y'all Iran, Mongolia, China. We're showing you Europe. What else? Russia, Germany, France. We're showing you, getting some of these white nations here. All right, let's get into another one here. Let's erase this from the board. We got Elam, or India. All right. And an online audience, we want you, let's get you guys involved here even more. And also, get you to understand the charts. That's what we got. I kind of printed this colorful chart so we can have a pictorial vision. So let's get into one of these other nations here. The 18 nations that exist. This nation is called Assyria. As a matter of fact, it's called Asher. This is a nation that, one of these nations here, that's the one that put us in captivity, Lashawan, Qadash, and messed our Lashawan, Qadash up and made it the blue that we're doing right now. So it's called Assyria. Well, let's write it out. Assyria. I think I spelled it right. Let's see here. Assyria. All right. Let's like that. Okay. Assyria. Okay. And Assyria, when you see in the Bible, by the way, when you see Ayalam in the Bible, they're talking about Elam or India. Because that's the reason why when you read it, for understanding, you'll understand. Let's go there for a second. Let's go to the Bible for a second. Psalms 83. I just have to use my phone here because my Bible's over there somewhere. Let's go to Psalms 83. Let's find out where some of these nations are. Let's figure out what it is here. Well, what are we talking about here? Old Testament, Psalms. Okay, let's go. Let's read a little bit about it here. Because we read this in part of our writings on the Sabbath. For lo, thy enemies, it says, Psalms 83, keep not thy silence, O God, O Yahweh, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh, or God. For lo, thy enemies make you tumble. And these enemies, these 18 nations are actually our enemies. Our enemies make a tumult. Tumult is like a fight, Our enemies make a tumult, and that they hate, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They've taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against the hidden ones. Who are the hidden ones? That's us. These nations have taken crafty counsel against us. And that's why we're doing this. We're showing you these nations. We're showing you where they are. We're showing you how not to join them, how not to marry them, how not to procreate with them, how not to be with them, sisters. Brothers, how not to take a wife except for it be one of the 12 tribes of Israel. They have come and said, let us cut them off and build a nation. They have consulted together, but one considered they're confederate against thee. That means they're joined against thee. The tabernacles of Edom, Ishmaelites, Moab, Hagarenes, Gabal, Amalek. Okay? Ashur. We're getting ready to get into this in Ashur here in a second here. Also joined with the hope of the children of Lot. Do it to the Midianites, Assyria, Endor, Arab, Zalmunna, all these nations here. And so we mentioned some of these nations. We'll get into Moab here, the Moab, the Chinese, but we'll get into it here. Those are the nations of Psalms 83. All these nations that conspired against us, you know. And let's find one of them. Because Assyria had us in captivity too. This is one of our nations that had us in captivity. All right. So let's figure out what we call Assyria. And we just read it, Assure. Let's read it again. Right here. Assure. Right here. Assure is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Now Assure is this right here, Assyria. That's what we're putting down right there. And it's all Ashur or Assure. So let's write it down. Let's break Assure down here. Find out where Syria is on the map. Oops. Yeah. Assure. Okay? That's how you say it back in the Bible days. So we just read it. And we proved that Assure that goes with there. Let's find Assyria. Now here's Syria right here. These nations here is somewhere right in here. Okay? You got Amman, right? As a matter of fact, Assyria, the Assyrians, of course, their lands, had a little bit more territory back in then. Of course, they've taken things from us, so you know. But right now, right next to Turkey, Assyria, Damascus, Beirut, all this Assyria, all those kings right there. That's where they subside today. That's their people. That's their lineage. Ashur, the Assyrians. Okay, they had us in captivity too, and we're going to call that nation. How do we pronounce it in Hebrew? Well, let's find out. It's called Lashawan. Lashawan. Okay? When you see that in the Bible, when you see Assure in the Bible, they're talking about in Hebrew is Ashawan. Okay? That's what it's saying right there. So let's break it down. Let's break it down in Paleo and Assyria. Let's find out what this nation that's situated right about here, right above Turkey there. Syria. And let's see. Arabs, Ismail, okay. Of course, they kind of here it is right here again, over here. Syria is right next to Iraq and Iran. Of course, we have Israel right here. So not far from us, they took some captivity. Okay? But Ashur. So let's break it down a little bit here. Let's find out in Paleo. Okay. Let's say Shah. And then we're going to have a Wa. We've got to have a Wa over here. Like this. And then we're going to have this. That's an R. All right, and we'll put the connectors down. All right, let's participate online also. We'll let you sink in because I will start thinking about the connectors here. We've got to find out what these connectors look like. Yeah. We got to find out what the connectors look like. So, because how many connectors are there in Hebrew? See if y'all's paying attention. Paleo, sisters, go ahead and say it out. 2. That's right. 2 connectors. For all y'all's paying attention. And what are they?
Independent and dependent.
Okay. And we need these connectors to make the what? Sounds and connect. Right. To connect these sounds together, because that's what Lashawan is all about. The 22 characters, they're about connecting these sounds together to make a word. That makes sense? Yes.
Why does that look like a 4?
Yeah. You want me to make it look a little better? Okay, the sister said, why does it look like a 4? All right, I'll make it look a little better. And it'll be because the R, all right, here. All right, let me break it down to you. Sis, right here. That's what is above there, R and A, Ra. That's that sound. What do you see? That's why. All right, and with the second here, we're gonna use that character for the Assyrian. But right now we're doing Paleo, which is the original whole Lashawan Qadash language. That's why it looks sort of like a 4, because that's what it's supposed to. That's the character. That's how it looks. That makes sense? Okay. You asked, so I told you. You're exactly right. 100% right. Why it look like a 4? Because it looked like a 4. You're exactly right. Now you'll never forget that R, would you? All right. All right. Let's break it down. Let's break it down. What's our independent sounds here? Is that independent or dependent? Independent. Sister say independent over here. Okay. All right. Online, participate also. The class, let's take it over. What about the sha? This is a sha right here. This sound right here is a sha. Sha. We're trying to enunciate or pronounce sha war. Okay? Now, I'm gonna do something here, and I want you guys to tell me if I'm wrong or right.
Right.
Think about it. Y'all think about it. It's independent, dependent sounds. I've connected something going on here. Online, let me know what I'm doing. Adrian, Sharp, Robinson, Ashan.
Right.
Y'all let me know on these connectors. Well, we're doing 18 nations here. Assyria, situated right in here. You know, of course, Israel's right there. That's what Assyria looks like, right there. That's what that nation. Is that right or is that wrong? In other words, we're doing this and this. Is that right or wrong?
Right.
We unanimously said what? La-ah. La-ah. Okay. Some people say la-ah. So if this is, let's find out why this is wrong. Let's find out. And so for this to be right, this would have to be sha-wa. Shawa. But is that right? Are we saying ah-sha-war or ah-shawa-ra? Ah-shawa. So you got to hear it. You got to hear it. You got to hear it. That's the point. So let's say for sake of understanding, I mean, I made it a little hard for you. Don't get me wrong. I apologize, you know. Anyway, let's break this down. Let's break down how it sounds. Independent. Sha, what do you hear? Independent. Right?
Yeah.
What about war? What about wa? Is that like that? And then it's like that? Is that right?
No.
Very good. Okay, so online, let me know if that's right. How about that one?
Yeah.
Sister Adrian,
Yeah. That's right.
Adrian and Robinson Latrice, Sean, let me know if this is right.
It is. It is.
You know, Sha, war. And so when we get, write these down in your notes because you're going to get all the 18 nations there. That's how we understand it. So actually, let me say this to you. Now this is correct. Because we're saying independent, independent, Shah. Then war, remember I told you last time, if you take the time and take the ones that has to be dependently tied together, do them first, what's left? Independent. That makes sense? That's all that's left. So, this has to be right. Shah, and then Wa, and R. So, war. That makes sense?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Very good. Now let's do some. Let's put it over here. Let's do some Assyrian. Since this is Assyria, we have to do the Assyrian for this because this is the country that put us in captivity and gave us this particular characters to fit our characters. So let's find out what it looks like. This is an A. That right? That's an A. Y'all remember?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, here's something unique. Put this in your memory banks. If that's a Shah, do you know that the Shah right here looks almost the same? Looks like the same W, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Okay, what about the Wa?
Wow.
Okay. Looks like this. Looks like that, okay? What about the R? Is that an Indian character?
Yeah.
Do you see it in green over there?
Yeah.
Help yourself out.
I do.
Do you see an R that's in green?
Yes. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Right there.
right? Okay. It doesn't have one, does it? Then therefore there isn't one. And so what do we use? What's her name? Right there. Donna? Where's the R?
Right there.
That one, wouldn't it? That's the R, right? For Ra.
Yeah.
We used this one, the red one, already, right here, did we?
Yeah.
So now we're going to use that R, right?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So we'll do this. Sort of like that. Okay? That's what that R looks like. Not that one, but those two now, they don't look nothing alike. But that looks like an R, just kind of like backwards, right? Like, because the R in our language, in the language that we speak now, looks like that, right? Sort of like that. But theirs look like that. So like turn around, right? There we go. So that's the understanding on that one. All right. So that's another nation. That's number 2. That's one of the nations, and then of course that nation's all through the Bible. When you see Assyria, Ashur, Ashur, war, that's what it looks like. Okay. All right. Let me grab a napkin here. Okay. All right. So Ashur, Assyria. Everybody understands where Assyria is, right?
Yes.
Right here.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's also right here.
Yeah.
Where'd it go? Oh, right there. Right above, when you see Israel right there, Assyria, right in there. That's part of a nation. They had them in captivity. I'm pretty sure they had, when they ruled, they had more territory than that. We're just telling you sort of where their people are now. Okay? Assyria. So let's erase that one off the board. Let's get into another one. The 18 nations. Independent, dependent connectors, Indian characters. We reinforce that so when we get into sentences, we'll understand a little better of how to break down words. Let's put Syria. Assyria and Assyria, they're about same, And they're all the same people, because that's why on this map here, it even says it right here. Syria, Assyria, Turkey, and all those nations, that's sort of like Assyrians, Cyprus, all up in that area. Even some of all these nations right here, the Iraqs, all these people were right in this area. Syria sort of ruled right in there. So we get into Syria, which is pretty much in the same area. Without saying a whole lot, we'll say Syria. Syria. Okay? That's pretty much in the same area. Assyrians, I don't see much different with it, but Syria, Assyrians, but there's a little different. And they're called Aram. They're different people, but where they're situated nowadays, if you go up into Turkey and Syria and all of these areas right up in here are all the same as the map is split here, and you go into these nations up in here, Syria is sort of like right there. Of course, it's been divided out. They got different leaders going on right now, but pretty much, they may have even had more territory, but that's pretty much where they are. Okay? Those people up there. Syrians, you see those people? Syria, okay? Some of them may even went down there to down in here. I mean, they nomads, they scattered a little bit. So we call it Syria. We'll call it Aram. Aram. Or Aram. Aram. It's Aram. But how we pronounce it in Hebrew is spelled like this. With an H and Ra and an M. Let's break this one down. This ought to be getting a lot easier for you, okay? We'll give you a chance to write that down in your notes right there. Have Dina McCall. Sir Adrian, yes. Yes.
Why does that R looks like an upside F?
Which one?
Down L. This one.
Oh, well, that's because it actually looks like a backwards R. Does that make sense? You can L, and you can say that. It probably looks sort of like an upside down L, but that's a good way to remember it. An R looks like an upside down L. Good acronym for it. That makes sense? Okay, but that's a good way to remember. Yes. That's kind of how you write your L. All right, there you go. And that's what you want. You want to be able to memorize these things because that R looks just like an upside down L. I didn't think about that, but you're right. Actually, it does. I just look like a backwards R or upside down L, okay? Very good. That means you're paying attention to class. That's what it means. And that's what I want. Okay, let's break this down here. Aram. Let's find out in Hebrew how that's spelled. Because that's one of the nations also. Syria, Assyria, they're all about the same people, but they are different. The Syrian and the Assyrians. Now we're going to say Aram. Okay? They are a little different. Okay? Then we're going to have Ra. There's that 4 the sister said. Ooh, be careful. Careful now. Ra. And then we have, let's do Aram, and let's do the, like that. All right, what's the breakdown on this? We put Sister Dina McCall over here. She's in class. Okay. All right, 1, 2, we got a lot of students in class today. So Aram, all right? Let's break it down. What does Aram looks like? Anybody venturous to tell us?
Are we doing the connectors right now, or are
we're doing the independent and dependent connection. We'll always start off in paleo first. That's why I do it in red so you can see the difference. Independent and dependent. So where does the independent and dependent connectors go?
Independent on the rock and dependent independent under off and dependent from rock to mark.
Sisters say like that, and what else?
And dependent from rock to mark.
Very good. That sister's exactly right. We're gonna have to give her a hand. She's on it today. She's on it today. She's got it. Give her a hand. She's got it right. Adrian's got it right. A lot of people in class got it right. Robinson, Latrice, all you guys got it right over there. That lets me know you're paying attention. She's exactly 100% right. Aram. See how easy this is? And there is another way to do it too. If you take the Ram and join it all together. If you didn't know anything about anything else, you say, what does that sound like? Ram. Oh, you don't say Arama. If it was going to be Arama, that would have to be an A there. Right? That ain't the case. And she's right. Aram. Okay, and then if that's the case, Aram, right there. So let's pull that one out first, just like this. So what's left?
Independent under off.
Independent. It would have to be, right? There's nothing else for it to join to, and that's how I do it. I always do them backwards, something like that. And sometimes you can get, when I say backwards, it's really not backwards, it's just, I try to find out what has to happen. That has to happen first, wrong, okay? All right, that makes sense? Very good. This is a short one. All right, let's move on. Let's do the Assyrian. We got something special going on here. Let's find out. Let's do, how do you make an A? Like this. The two vowels, remember? The A and the I. Or the A and the I. So it's A. Okay? And the Ra, over here, like that upside down L the sister was talking about. With a little hook on it. Sort of like that. You know, let's make a little straight line. Okay? And then the M.
Closed mark in the Syrian.
Huh?
The closed mark in the Syrian.
You're right. In other words, okay?
The ending character.
Ending character. Very good. So the ending character, are we talking about this one? La. I couldn't fool it, didn't see. All right. Very good. So we're talking about this one, right? Okay. Very good. And that's, see? Everybody online got it right. I see it over there. Very good. And that's how that looks in Assyrian. Because we're talking about Syria and Assyria. There are two different nations there. But that's how it looks. Ram. That's how that looks, okay? Now they did this, so we simply teach it. But the red is the more pure version because it has, without this, you really don't know. I mean, when I'm saying Aram, I know this is an M. That's just the way their nation talks, you know. That's just the way their nation is. So for the understanding. But our nation, we know Aram is spelled with connectors, independent connectors, okay? So let's get rid of that right here. Let's move on to the next one here. Hope you guys online taking notes, because they are in class here. They're taking notes in class in here. Our next one is going to be the Arabs. Oh, this is a good one here. The Arabs. Let's find out what about them Arabs there. Let's find a little bit about these Arabs. Where is the Arabs situated nowadays? Let's find out what the Arabs are. Okay?
Yeah.
Arabs. Hope you guys can see all this. I'm writing it big right here so you can see it. Arabs. situated? Right here, Saudi Arabia. Who's their father?
Ishmael.
Ishmael, that's right. Ishmael. Give Sister Ann. Ishmael. And who was his brother?
Isaac.
Isaac. Unanimously, everybody agreed. So Isaac, so Ishmael. And then, of course, you had Isaac. Like that. Isaac, you know, that Isaac is our progenitor right there. He's the one that because of him, he had Jacob, of course. But we'll take Isaac out of the picture here because he ain't got nothing to do with these Arabs over here. This Arab, that's his brother. Send him. They sent him out with a lunch and some water and told him, hit the road. That nation is found right here, the Arabs, Ishmael. And we're going to call it, I believe it's Yasha, let's Yashamiyala. Yeah, there you go. Yah, Shah, Yashma, Yasha, Ma, I'm spelling this right. Ma, Yashamai, sorry. Allah, of course, Allah is Lord. Or God. Allah. Let's find out, let's make sure we got it right over here.
Yeah.
You got it right? Yeah, that's it. Yashama Allah. Okay? That's how, when you see in the Bible, when you say Ishmael, he is the father of these Arabs over here. Who's let's see if you guys really online and in class. Who's Ishmael's mom? Y'all put your thinking caps on for a second. Who's the mother? Ishmael's mother. I'll let y'all think for a second. Y'all think about it. On class, Adrian and Sister Robinson Trees, Dina, Sean, Shar, all this online right here, right now. Who was Ishmael's mom? Of course, his dad was Abraham. We know that. But who was his mom? Who was his mother? Y'all be careful now. Y'all be careful, be careful, be careful. Who was Ishmael's mother?
Hagar.
One sister say Hagar. All right, we're brave, so we'll put that one down. And she said Hagar. Do y'all agree online there? I think it's, how you spell that?
Hagar.
Hagar, not two G's, right?
Right.
Okay, that's right. There you go. Okay, she say Hagar. Is that right online? The class in here says Hagar. Be careful now, son. Is that right? All the sisters, all the brothers in class? Was that Ishmael's mama? Hagar? If it is, you know, type Khan, or if it's not, type La'ah. Who's this rascal? You know, he wanted some a blessing. You know, Hagar, and she's right. She's right, Hagar. Now, what was Hagar's nationality? See, we'll give you bonus points for that. Go ahead. Right. Get his sister hand clap. She said it was Egyptian. She said it was Egyptian. Exactly right. Okay?
Yeah.
She was Egyptian. That means she was Hamite. And therefore, you know she couldn't part about next to the Lord that sent him on the way. Even though that was Abraham's, one of his wives. Okay? So that couldn't possibly be. we had to make sure Isaac, you know. Okay? So, let's break it down a little bit. So we got Hagar, a little erased. I thought that was a little sidebar right there we threw out. The classroom is, let me see what you got. Con, yeah, hey, you said concert, yeah. Adrian has a right. A lot of brothers and sisters got it right over there. Okay, so Yah, let's do it in Hebrew. Let's find out Yasha Ma'elah. Yasha Ma'elah. Let's figure out how that's spelled. Yasha Ma'elah. Where's my red pencil? Yasha Ma'elah. Okay? Let's go with this right here. Let's go with, that's a Yah. Okay? Look on the board over there, you'll see it. Somewhere over there. When you see the Yah, Yah, Shah, Yasha, okay? My, Ma, I, and then we'll have a La. That's what that word looks like. Okay? Yasha Ma'elah. Okay? Ooh, did I have too many characters? Yeah, I did. I wrote this down right here. You know, sometimes I get these things mixed up. Yasha Ma'elah, that's right. That's right. Okay. That is the case. And let's break this one down. Y'all pay attention now. Let's break this one down. Let's break this one down to a science of understanding something here. What sounds do you hear that has to be joined together?
Mine.
Mind. There you go. She said mind. So let's just do that right there. Take that out of the equation, right? Right? Y'all pay attention, right? So see that right there? Mind. It has, so here's the M and has the I. So we what?
Connect.
We connected with the independent, right?
Yeah.
Right, sisters and brothers online?
Yeah.
She said, mine. It's got to be joined together, okay? All right. Now let's see. Now everything else is what?
Independent.
Independent connectors, aren't they? Well, let's break it down. Because you can actually see the word. You can actually see Yah, and you see a Shah. Okay, let's go with it. You see a Yah. You see a Shah by itself. Right? There's your mind joined together. And then you see right here. I mean, these are actually part of the 22 characters. So and then you hear La. Would that look right there? Huh? Looks right to me. Exactly right. Okay. Yasha, and let's break this word down. That's how it says. It goes like Yah, Shah, My. Right there. Allah means God. Yasha Ma'elah. That's the same. That's what you heard when you heard them back in the old days when they said, be careful now, be careful of the mic down there, okay? Watch the cord. When you heard the in the old days, if they said Ishmael, they pronounced him Yashama'ila. That's how it sounded, okay? So it's kind of helping you understand our language by breaking down, all right? And there he's the progenitor of the Arabs. He went off and started the Arabs. Because it has to come from a man's seed. Could come from Hagar. He started his nation. The Lord sent him off. The Lord blessed him with princes and as you know, and things like that. He had a little territory down there, right about here. Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Oman, all those places down in there, that's where you hang out right there. That's where he is today, right down in here. Right down in here, brothers and sisters. That's where Yashama'ila stands. Ishmael, Hagar's son, and of course it was Abraham's son too, but you know he couldn't take the throne, and he couldn't make the 12 tribes of Israel, so the Lord gave him, put him out somewhere down there, and today this is where they're found. You know, regardless of where they went, this is where they found today. Saudi Arabia, somewhere in that area, Yemen. Those are called the Arabs. Ishmael, that makes sense, guys?
Yes.
Y'all understand?
Yes.
Very good. Very good. Okay. All right, let's get into some more here. Let's get into one. Oops. You know what I didn't do? I did not have time to write. Yeah. I got time. I got time to write it. I forgot what I did. I got time to write this real quick here. I'm trying to make sure I get them all done in class, but maybe we might not have time. I don't know. Okay. Yasha. And then we have an M. Ooh, boy, I put the wrong, that was an N. I'm sorry, I was lucky. I apologize to you. Man, ooh, the M looks like that. I apologize. Okay, and that's my fault. And there's the M. Now we're not going to have a little square M no more because it's not at the end, right? Okay. And then we have an I. Then we have an A, like this. Then we have an L. Like that. Sort of like that. Okay? Yashama'ila. That's what his name looked like in in the Syrian language. Okay? Saudi Arabia. Okay, all right, let's move on. You good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, in class, we're taking good notes here, and I trust that's what you guys are doing online. All right, let's get into the next nation. Let's get into the next nation. Let's do Chinese. Let's do the Chinese right here real quick. The Chinese. Everybody know what Chinese. Y'all know what Chinese people, right? The people with slanted eyes.
Yeah.
Chinese.
Me.
Chinese. Okay? The Chinese would call these people right here the Moabs. Boy. Moabs. Or just Moab, I'm sorry. They call them back then, you know, the Moabites. When you see something like Moab right there, those are Chinese people. All right? And of course, we call them Mawa'aba. I believe it's Ba, yeah, that's right. You notice I kind of like put dots to help me from my pronunciation. Well, let's go through this real. Where's China? Everybody see China right there? That's Moab. Mawaba. Now they were like China and Japan. Is that right? Yeah. The Chinese and Japanese are sort of very, 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 very close, and we're going to talk about them in a second here. the Japanese, Ammon, they are, let's just put him down. Let's just put him down right here. Let's put Japan right here. Now what we don't know about them is those are Lot was the progenitor of them. His two daughters incest him. He incests them, either way how you want to look at it. Japan, and that's why they sort of look alike, you know, sort of a Mongoloid feature. Ammon, like that. Okay, and those are called let's put the Japanese. Let's write it out straight here. Japanese. Okay. The Japanese, Ammon, all right? And we'll call him Imawan. Imawan, okay? Imawan, all right? Right. So what's unique about these? This is how you spell them. Mawa'aba. And the Japanese is Ammon or Imawan. Now those two people, those are Lot's people. You know the Lot that should have fled Sodom and Gomorrah, and he didn't, and his wife looked back. Right? Remember that? His wife, Lot's wife. She looked back, and she became what?
Pillar of salt.
A pillar of salt. That's exactly right. The Chinese and the Japanese, that was their mother, and of course Lot was their daddy. And they're part of the 18 nations. They're not part of the 12 tribes of Israel. Although, can anybody tell me who, we'll say this in Lashawan Qadash here. Lot, who was Lot's, and I can get into it and read about who was his dad, but let's find out who was his uncle.
Shem.
Who?
Shem.
It's the same person that was Ishmael's daddy was Lot's uncle. So who was his uncle?
Sit down, Dr.
Huh? Yeah, that was Lot's uncle was who? Abraham. Exactly right. That's exactly right. Abraham. There you go.
Ladies.
Exactly right. Abraham, okay? That was his dad. And so when we say Mawa Abba, when we say Japanese, Ammon, Imawan, Lot, uncle, of course he had a daddy, of course, and I think it was Nahor, I believe. I believe that was Abraham's brother, and I think that would have been Lot's dad. I don't have time to look that up right now. But anyway, that's what it is, okay? That's just something I threw in there. All right? Mawa Abba, Moab, okay? Now we'll get off of that, and then everybody understand how you pronounce this and who they were? Everybody understand that?
Yeah.
Mawa Abba. And I'll kind of skip over them for a second because I want to make sure we try to get a few done for time's sake. Chinese, Moab. And where are they again? Right there. Big old nation. Right above India. Nepal, Myanmar, Myanmar, Thailand, Laos, and right above there is China. The Mongolians. All these people sort of look alike. They look at because they have that Mongolian feature because they're part of incest. Sorry. All right. Chinese. And Imawan is the Japanese. Okay? I want to break the Hebrew down on that one real quick. But at least you understand who they are. All right? Let's get to, before we get to Edom, let's get to this one. What was that one? What was that? What's your name? Adana. Wasn't your name up here somewhere? Okay, there you go. Okay, good. All right. Adana, we'll put that down. She has a name right up here. Turkey, she has actually a name, Adana. Sort of spelled like that, yeah. But that's because Hebrews we're all over the map. But in Turkey, right above that, there was be more like the Syrians, and we talked about that in a second here. The Syrians, okay? Now let's get into the Egyptians before we get into Esau here. Let's get into the Egyptians. Where is Egypt? Anybody know? Africa. That's right. Egypt is sort of like right in here, right there. All right, let's find out who Egypt was. Let's find out who this rascal is. Let's find out who these Egyptians are. E, G, Y, P, T. Egypt. Okay, Egyptians. And let's call we're going to say I-A-N-S. I-A-N-S. Egyptians. What do they call in the Bible? Okay. Right. Egyptians. Yeah. We call them Ma, Za. Mazah, Ra, Ain. And then, of course, Mata, Zar, Yam. Let's break this one down right here real quick. Who are the Egyptians?
Me.
Anybody?
Me.
Yeah. Sister? That's right. Get that sister a hand. They are the Africans. Right there. On the corner there. And of course right in here. Kind of like off my map a little bit. Those Africans, they are not us. Only thing they kind of have us is that color, you know, a little bit. But Montezarium are actually, they're nothing but Africans. So we'll put that under there too. They are the Africans. And they're different type of Africans, of course. Egypt is just one of them. Okay? All right? So, Montezarium. Let's write that word out a little bit. Let's write Ma. Now what we're trying to do is spell this word because that's the E. Okay? That word right there, they're Egyptians. They're Mizraim or Montezarium. When you see Mizraim in there in the Bible, they're talking about Montezarium. That is the Hebrew. And of course it's paleo because it's in red. That's what we're using. And they're nothing but Africans. That's all they are. They're different types of Africans. Watch the chord. Okay? So Ma, Ta. Let's put, what do we see here? Let's join something together here. Let's just write it out here. Let's just write everything out first. Let's just write it out as we see it, okay? Montezarium, okay? Mata, then we'll write a Z right here. Okay, Mata, Za. I'll just spell it out, I don't need to know something. Za, let's put a Ra. Ya. Need Africans. Everybody know they're Africans, right? We'll write that. We'll move that out of the way here for a second. Okay. Za. Ooh, man, that ain't right. No, that ain't right. Mata, Za, Ra. Then we have a then we have a Yam. That's a Yah. Then we have an M. Okay, let's break this down. How do we break this down? Be careful now, so don't fall and hurt yourself now. Okay?
Yeah.
Yes, sis?
I think it might be Ma to Sa and put the Ra on.
Okay.
'Cause
Well, let's find out what has to connect first. What has to connect? What do you see that has to connect?
Ma Ta.
Huh?
From house right here.
Okay. Let me do this for you. Let me help you out a little bit. Let's put it this way. Is there a such in our characters, our Hebrew characters, 22 characters, is there a Yam?
No.
No, exactly. So there's a Yah and then a Ma, right? I mean, if you put the Ma, so that must be what? They got to be joined together then, because they stuck together, aren't they? So let's do that then. Here it is right here. So we know that's dependent connected, right? Right on line? Is that right on? Am I right on line right there? Adrian Robinson and Dina and Lashawan, Shar. Is that right? We have to join this together, right? Why? Because the Yam, there's no character called Yam. They're right next to each other, so we have to put a dependent connector on them to join them together. Yam, okay? What about, do we see Tazah there?
Yes.
We see a Tazah? Is Tazah one of our characters?
Yes.
Raise your hand. Always raise your hand, class. Tazah, sis? One of our characters. The sister's right. And where's Tazah? Right here.
Me.
Ma, Tazah, Rayam. So let's go over here. Ta, Ra, Matazar. Now let's see. What do we see here? We see Tazah and the R there, right? Right? Do you hear that? We want to make that one sound or not? Yeah. Because what do you hear? Ma, Tazar. Tazar. You hear that R there at the end of Tazar?
Yes.
Hear that R? Tazar. Kind of hear it, right? So let's join it together. Let's join it. That make sense? Well, if that's together, then here it is right here. See, we're eliminating stuff. The process of elimination. The biggest teacher. Okay, so far we got Yam and Tazar. What's left? Oops, I did that wrong. I'm sorry. I did that one wrong. What did I say? Tazar? Oh, I know I did that wrong. Ooh, why didn't y'all stop me from that massacre? Now that's better. There we go. That's a Tazar. I had too many characters there. I tried to put a Z in there. Lord have mercy. Okay? Ma. Tazar. We hear the Tazar. There it is. Now what's left? Get him before he falls for himself. What's left? So there's independent sound, right? Like this. There we go. So that would have to be how you do it, right? That would be exactly. I'll just stay right there now. Isn't that exactly how you do that? Would that make sense? Okay. It makes sense to me. Okay? That makes sense. Now write that down. Study that for a second. But that's how I do it. That's the easiest way to do it. 8:30. All right. Let's get into Esau real quick here. All right? Let's write him down here. We don't want to forget him and all his nations. Let's write a few of his nations down. We may not be able to spell them out, but let's at least write them down, okay? Do you have that in class? Y'all got that written down? Okay? That is the paleo for it. Montazarian, and it is exactly how you spell it. We'll take this out of the picture there. Okay? All right? That's Egyptians. And the Egyptians again are what? Africans or Ham. That's one of the nations. How many nations are in Africa? There are 4 of them, right? And Egypt is one of them. Okay? Now let's get into Esau. Who's Esau? Who's Esau? Lashawan, Qadash here. We're talking Esau. Edom, right? Huh? Okay. So-called white people, right? Edom. The main focus here. Let's make sure. Edom. It's called the what? White people? Or Caucasians, right? Okay? I mean, that's what they are. We're not doing it. We're just saying what they are. Okay? And we call them Wam. Okay? Let's list some of these nations that he is. Okay? All right? Let's list some of these nations that he is. The French. I mean, this is a lot more than this. We just, but we're saying the nations that are part of the 18 nations because they all morphed off all of these nations. What else? The French, which is called Gomer. You see Gomer in the Bible? Or Gomer. Gomer. Okay? Alright? What else? We have Russia. Now where's France at? Anybody know? Right there. That nation right there. What name a nation out of France? Paris, right? So that's those white people that come from there. The French, they speak oui and all this language that they speak. I don't speak much French anyway. But that's what these people call themselves doing. These are the people that one of our worst enemies of the 18 nations involve Edom, which is the white people. You'll find that in Genesis 25. It's Edom, or it's called Lashawan. His first time the second time he appeared, because he got cursed under Cain. But we don't get it. That's another lesson. We'll stay with this one right here. What's next? What did I say? Russia. Let's say Russia, right? Russia would be called, let's see, Magog. Magog, okay? Okay? And Magawag. We don't need this anymore. We kind of know what that is right there. Magawag, okay? All right, Magawag. Emphasis of time, I'm not writing the Hebrew too much. I'm just giving you the name so you can write them down in your, by now you all know how to write the Hebrew and Assyrian pretty much. So, white people, they have nations. He's Lashawan. Some of his nations, French, Gomer, Russia, Magawag. Russia is right here, right? See Russia? Everybody see Russia up there? One of the nations in Russia is Lubinsky, Nubisky, Blisk, and all these different nations. Here, Moscow, Kostroma, all these people, this kind of crazy language they spit when they talk, that's them, okay? They ain't us. That makes sense? Don't be separate from them. Don't join these people here, all right? Then we have the Greeks. Interesting thing, of course, our people, our northern nation tribe went to Greece, but we're not really considered Greeks. We just spoke Greek. We lived there. It's just like I would be called an American. I'm not American. I live here. I speak American. But I am Judite, from the tribe of Judah. Okay? So the Greeks called Javan. And Javan would be called Yawan. We're almost done, guys. Shh. Almost done, right?
Yeah.
Okay? Yawan, all right. Here's what's his name? German. Okay. Let's do Germany. German. Okay, who are the Germans? You still talking about white people, all these people. We're still going all down his nations, right? And I go on and on, but these are the 18 nations that we're going to talk about here. Where am I? Germany. They're Ashkenaz. Nas. Write these down in your notes, make where you have them, okay? And it's called, of course, the way you spell them is N-A-Z. That's how you pronounce it in Hebrew. Ashkenaz. They pronounce it Ashkenaz. Not too much different. And you'll see that in the Bible, Ashkenaz. It's really trying to say Ashkenaz. Okay? All right? Y'all got that down? All right, we got 2 more. Where is Germany at, by the way? I'm sorry. Right here. Right next to France. Okay? Germany, right there. Right there. That's Germany. There it is. It's situated right here. You see that? Germany. You know, places like, Germany, right up there near, right next, it's got Berlin in there. Yeah. I won't get into it too much. But that's where Hitler was, right there in Germany. That's what these nations are situated nowadays. They're situated like that. Let's do that. Did we do the French? Yeah, France is right there. Gomer, Germany, Ashkenaz, okay? Let's write Spain. We'll write one more Spain, and we got actually one more Italy. I don't know if I have room. I'll try to squeeze it in here. We have Spain. Right here. Right there. Spain. Okay, what is Spain called? Tarshish. Now I know we saw Tarshish in the Bible. What's a Tarshish? See if people online and people in class, who was a character that had to go to Tarshish? Adrian, you still with me? And Robinson Latrice, Shar, Sean, Dana McCall. Who? Spain. And where's Spain? Let's find out where Spain is, right here. That's where that old dreaded Christopher Columbus came for, so to speak. They're talking about he found America. He ain't found nothing. How you gonna find something that's already discovered by the Hebrew Israelites? The kingdom already over here. How you gonna come over here talking about going across the land, selling the ocean blue that they teach these children in school, which is a lie. Okay? He ain't find America. The real 12 tribes of Israel found what you call America. When Amerigo Vespucci came there and discovered then. Okay, we'll do that. That's a whole other lesson. Trail of Tears and all that. We'll get into all that. But Spain is right here. Madrid, Valencia, and all those places. That's Spain. Of course, you got Portugal over here, Lisbon, and all that. That's Spain. Tarshish. Now, what is that character? First we call him. I'll let you guys think. There's a character in the Bible. I believe it was. Yash. When you see that, when you see Tarshish in the Bible, those are actually the Spaniards. White people. Same white people as Edom. Same thing. Okay? These are Edom nations. Now you gotta remember, out of all these nations, here's one more. I got one more, I'm sorry. I think I have room to, let's see if I can squeeze it in here. We'll put Edom up here. We'll put Edom right here. Hope we can see that. And then he's actually Esau also out of the Bible, Genesis 25. Okay, let's see. There's one more nation before I get back to Tarsus here. It's called Italy. 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 The Italians. Where's Italy, guys? That's the last white nation. Where's that at? The boot. That's very good. All right, let's sit down, guys. Class is almost. Let's be a soldier. Let's be a brave soldier, all right? Italy. Right? Milan and all these places right here. That's where the Pope is. Your wickedness. These are white nations. United Kingdom, Britain, all these people, or if you put them all together and you mix them all up, it's going to be the rest of the nation, the rest of their inhabitants from there. But these are the main nations that part of the 18 nations where they morphed or metamorphosed from, or their seed pushed them that way. Italy is called Kittim. 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 Kittim, okay? Kittim. Kittim. And then Kittim, of course, is called Kapayam. Yum. Okay? Of course, we don't have time to write down all the Hebrew for them, but I just want you guys to understand what that is and who they are, where they live, and how they exist today. And those are the 18 nations, of course, of how they exist today, okay? So you guys got a good understanding of what, of how Commander General Yohana has taught us who these white people are, Edom, and all the other nations also. That's where we went. Like I said, right here, Esau, Edom, okay? Adawam, that means Edom. Okay, and of course you got all the Europeans, you got all these other nations up here. Like I said, all these nations, and of course when you get Iran and Iraq, all these people, Babylon's, Assyria, ancient Babylon, Assyria, you know, all they're part of the nations that we talked about just a second ago. Then you get into the Ukraine, which is part of Russia. All these other nations, they just marked out. Poland, they ain't no but Russians anyway, when you think about it. They can say they're Polish, but they ain't no but some Krakow, Lviv, and Kiev, and all them, all that's Russians. And of course you got Finland, Sweden. they ain't no but some Russians. They probably more Germans from my studies, but whatever. London, you got these people over here, United Kingdom, whatever, don't matter. They still what? Edom or Esau, okay? That's what they are. Now do we have a good class? Clap it up. That's the class that we're going to have every week. I'm always trying to present something new. So come to class. All I'm saying to you is that these are the 18 nations. We'll get into something next week in the holy Lashawan Qadash. But for right now, the 18 nations we've gone over. I'll write it down here again over here. And we're glad to have Adrian, Sean, Latrice, Robinson, Reed, Jenna McCall, and Adrian in class. And then we have a lot of sisters in class, a lot of brothers in class. Very good. We had a wild class tonight off the 18 nations. They'll have to get me a bigger board here to manufacture all this writing here, okay? And of course, we'll get into some more studies as we learn. We went over the characters, we went over 18 nations, and we're going to get into something a little bit more heavy. And as you read, as you study, there's something unique about the 18 nations, that they all conspired against us. They had us in slavery, you know? And that's the most biggest thing that you all guys should remember. Know that we were in slavery. And all these people, all these nations that has in captivity. Let's see if I could find out what our captivities were. Like, okay, Egypt, right here. Egypt has in captivity. Let's find out here. Let's find out our different captivities. 1500 BC, Egypt. Egyptians, where are they at again? The Africans, right? Right here. Egypt had us in captivity. What else? All right. Assyria. We talked about that. Ashur. We talked about that. Assyria, right in there. You know, the Medes and the Persians and the Syrians and all them people, they're all about the same, roughly. Turkey, all them, you know. Then you had, of course, Assyrian had all them. Then you have Babylonian, the Babylonian Empire. That would be right here. I believe that would be Iraq. Babylonian Empire. If you really want to put that down, the Babylon. You know, you can write that one down. All right. Then we had the Greek Empire, Greece. Right in here. Greece. That's where some of our northern tribe went. In Greece there, away from Israel. And of course, that's a whole nother lesson to study. We won't get into it, but Paul went there, trying to get our brothers back out of there, talk to them. And the Greeks, okay? They had us in captivity too. And about 332, then the Romans. Oh my goodness. Them the biggest people of captivity. So right now, the Romans, and they are Edomites, white people. And all these people, French, Russian, Greek, German, Spain, Gomer, Magog, Avan, Ashkenaz, Germany, Tarshish. Okay? By the way, it says Tarshish. Be careful now, son. Where Tarshish? Who was that? Who was that fled to Tarshish from that the Lord sent here? Who was that person, that character in the Bible? Anybody remember?
Yeah.
He got out there and he ran a day's journey. He ran a 3 days journey, I think, in a day. In Tarshish. Would that have been who? Start with a J. In the Bible.
Jacob?
Nope. You own it though. You close. We'll see if anybody online got that. In Tarshish. Who's that character? Tarshish. That was a city that he had to go. The Most High said, go to and basically talk to these people. Tell them to repent. He was in a fish. Remember? Yes, listen.
Jonah.
Exactly. Get us Sister Ann. Jonah. Man, he got off that boat. They threw him off that boat. They threw dice and said, look, we got to throw him out. There's storms everywhere. Jonah. Well, that's Tarshish. Tarshish was in Spain. Right in that area right there. I don't know exactly where, but that's what we come up with. Tarshish, that's what Jonah was. Somewhere in that area. And of course, American captivity. Of course, I don't have America on here, but it would be right over here somewhere. Sailing across the whole sea. Somewhere, on that side right there. Okay? All right, now guys, I want you guys to be real quiet. We're going to read we're good to have people in class here. We're going to read our ISUPK security announcement. Okay, guys? Let's be real quiet, okay? The ISUPK security announcement. We had a good class, by the way. I'm glad you guys enjoyed yourself. I'm glad we learned something about the 18 nations. We are the ISUPK, started off 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for the new brother and sister. When a brother or sister comes into a school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to the brother and sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 months period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, Numbers 18 and 21, Malachi 3, 8, and 10. It means, in Hebrew, ma'asharah. We'll learn later on about asharah. It's the number 10. And ma, the tithe, or of the 10. Okay? Ma'asharah. 10% of every penny of any increase the Most High gives you. Give to the treasury department or teacher, the priest fund. It's a free will offering to the priest. It's not mandatory for whatsoever amount you would like. Of holy convocations would be, what's the holy convocations we're going to have next? I think it's Hakanaka. That's Hakanaka, the Feast of Dedication, Hakanaka. 25th day of the 9th month by the space of 8 days. Wednesday, December 9th, 2020, 8 days. Find that in the book of 1 Maccabees 4, 52 and 61. Maccabees is part of our books. It's inserted in the middle of the Bible, of the King James Version of the Bible. Okay? Then we have in January, of course, we'll have Purim. And we just came off the Feast of Tabernacles, the 11 days, and all these other ones. But the Feast of Hakanaka is soon to come. And we're going to be in class next week, and we hope that you had a good time understanding class. And Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai to all my brothers, and for the sisters, Yahweh Shema, Alathah Hashem, Yahweh Shai to all my sisters. Okay, clap it up for class. So that you take you home. Sister Adrian had it right. That's right, Adrian. You got it exactly right. Shalom. You had Jonah. That's exactly right, Sister Adrian. See you next class, guys.
Bye.
Dina, Adrian, Shar, Sean, and Miss Roberts.